Other interesting business news, you have Walmart cutting pay for online order new hires. Now, it looks like those are the employees you've probably seen and perhaps bumped into where if you're old fashioned like me and you prefer picking out your produce to make sure there's no bruises and it's just right, you get the perfect best apple every time. You're someone like me, you go to the store once every couple of weeks, you pick out the best produce, and you're in and out, bang, bang, you're done. Now, some people who they trust employees to pick out the best fruit, not to damage them when they throw them into the baskets, they will actually order online. And that trend is exponentially increasing with all grocery stores. So Walmart had a huge hiring spree, and one of the reasons they increased the wages because it was a big boom. They had this moment where every grocery store from Walmart to Kroger to Meijer, it seems like every single grocery store, they just started this online program. And the consumers loved it. So they're having to compete with talent as well. Now, they actually increased the price for those wages rather in 2021. That's when the e-commerce was soaring. And it'll be interesting to see. I can't help but think maybe they're not getting the ROI they wanted out of these orders. Because again, when you look at groceries, the margins are terrible. The margins on a grocery store are usually 2% on a good day. That's why if you look at the little business landscape, when's the last time you saw a startup open a grocery store? Yeah, it really doesn't happen. It's pretty much everything these days is everything as a service. Technology's always booming, but I digress. Getting back to the grocery stores, they're razor thin margins. So that's why you have a lot of hybrid stores. We have stores like Target and Walmart where they sell things that are more durable and those products are more profitable. The goal is sometimes you lose money. A notorious loss leader would be milk. Most companies actually lose money on the milk. They put it in the back of the store every single time. So you walk past the other stuff and you buy more profitable things when you're going to get the milk. And with Walmart, though, with all these online orders, perhaps they just weren't making the profit they wanted and they had to decrease the cost of the employees. And perhaps they found the role was easier than they thought, maybe with feedback from the employees. There's a lot of what ifs that we could think about. In terms of the trend slowing down, I don't think the trend is slowing down. I mean, I've seen more and more anecdotally, I've seen every time I go to the big box mart, I can't help but see probably 6 to 8 of those carts where you have an employee with a cart of like 12 baskets and they're going along the aisle just picking everything out. I think that's going to be a big trend for the next, I'd say, maybe 48 months. I think eventually you'll have giant warehouses and you'll just have robots doing all of that for groceries in that regard, similar to an Amazon warehouse. But for some reason, they're not at that point yet. Granted, with produce, there's a lot more variables, keeping it fresh, temperature, what have you. And to actually cool a warehouse be an astronomical cost. It's one of the biggest costs of a grocery store is the electric bill for those types of facilities with the actual refrigerated sections. So there's a lot more variables that go into it, and perhaps right now it's not cost efficient. But there's a lot of economists that are kind of worried. They're looking at this news. They're running about, 40-year hyperinflation. There's a lot of economic uncertainty. I myself, with my IT company, I know customers and prospective clients where they're actually decreasing their spend based on politics. They're uncertain on who's going to be elected in 2024. And in the United States, there are a lot of laws, a lot of rules, a lot of regulations that change from administration to administration, many of them impacting businesses. And there are some fields that are more impacted than others. But overall, there are huge implications. And I always say when it comes to business, one of the biggest killers is uncertainty. And one of the best things any politician can do is bring certainty to the market. And right now, you also have the Fed with the crazy high interest rates, which they had to do because they shot us in the foot when they printed more money than ever been printed before. So they had to raise an interest rate to try to decrease the inflation they themselves created. And this, I'm not just going to say it's kind of an apolitical thing. It happened on both sides of the political aisle. But a lot of these businesses are wondering what on earth are we going to do. So I'm not surprised Walmart is decreasing the cost of the wages. I think they're doing it to be, of course, more profitable long term, more competitive. And I don't think this specific instance is necessarily a sign of a greater economic downfall. I think there's a lot of economic uncertainty. I don't think the specific business point is one that some of the articles are noting when I was reviewing the topic. But in terms of Walmart's growth as well as their business strategy, I think that part of the business with the online sales is going to keep growing more and more because people really value the convenience. Depending on where you live, you're saving a lot of time, not just your time, but presumably depending on what you drive, you're saving money on the gasoline or the electric if you're paying to charge your car and or paying for tolls. All those costs add up. And depending on your income level, your time is worth more or less than the cost of the fee to pay for the grocer to put that in the box and ship it to you. Or you pick it up there at the store. dealer's choice, so to say. So it'll be interesting to see, but not too surprised. And I think this will just long-term help Walmart propel as they transform their business to give the consumers the best experience possible. Thank you everyone for taking the time to tune in. Again, I know it's ambitious, but we're trying to get to 4,000 subscribers by the end of September. So if you click that button, I would greatly appreciate it. Also, I really appreciate the feedback as we try to make the show better and better. Slowly but surely, perhaps, getting better at my enunciation and slowing down my speech patterns, as many of you in the comments noted that was something you did not appreciate and you wanted me to work on. So that's something where we're working together to make this show better and better. Also, don't forget to tell your family, tell your friends, tell your coworkers, heck, tell your enemies, tell anyone and everyone. Just stay safe, fight the good fight.